Oh, fuck it. Let's do this. First question of the day. I have my coffee, have my spliff rolled, just haven't got there yet. Alright, so here it is. Um, would you consider speaking regarding parents of estranged children and possibly sharing some healthy concepts of letting go or moving on for parents? Fucking good morning, man. And great question. I don't know if I'm ready to answer this, but I will do my best. I obviously hit the button for a reason. Maybe raw time is best, but I should do you all a favor and take a hit of a spliff first, just in case. I am not going to promise even keel emotions, and I'm not going to, well, let's just see what happens. All right. So, as many of you know, my children were taken away, kidnapped, almost. Well, we're in 2009 right now, so we're going on it's 9.5 years right now. 10-year anniversary will be April 12th. Dr. Betty Martini was live on the air with me, Soul Journeys Radio. And we were, or maybe it was still Truth Brigade then. Yeah, it was still Truth Brigade. Yep, just doing our show, and then some cops, bust through 3 doors. My children run and beg for help as they're beating me up. I just came across the pictures the other day with my bruises, by the way, and my hair, like, stuck in a drawer of my pyramid chest and all this fun stuff. No charges, no warrant, no, what are the other things they're supposed to have? Investigation. Yeah, so Thankyou, Robert Baer, who's now dead. And the other, let's see, people who chose to not be anywhere near us, or his child, who then found a way to coordinate with my father, who I don't know, to end up in Branson and create this shit show. All right. So, how do you move on, right? Whether you're being estranged from your children or you're just an empty nester or whatever. And this is hands down the most difficult thing in my life, and probably the most difficult thing any parent will ever have to go through. I haven't spoken on this because clearly I'm not healed. Not there. I am in a lot of ways, but the pain of losing your children is, I don't know if it's ever going to go away. If it is, cool. But yeah, so let's move on. First of all, as with any other trauma, you have to feel it. You have to go through the pain, the emotion. Now, at the time, and go back and listen to my shows, dude, I got out of jail 3 days later, and then I was back on the air 5 days a week, helping other people with their shows, having scumbags like GeoGate try to recruit me, take away my show time with some other hosts, and, just fucked up shit. So I grieved, but I did not really have the time or safe place to grieve, because what you have to understand, first of all, is grieving in this world is not allowed. It's a mental illness, right? So you have to be very careful where and with whom you feel human emotions. Not everyone is human, okay? Just get that through your head. They're on fucking drugs, they're on pills, they're on TV. Period. They're not human. That is why they freak out when they see humans being human. Okay? So it's okay if you're on stage with a microphone and a guitar, right? Then you can feel emotion. Then you can talk about painful situations, right? Put a little note to it. I fucking hate life. Oh my God, I wanna die. Boo boo. And then it's okay, right? But if you're a person saying, oh my God, this is terrible, this is too much, I can't take it, then you get locked up. So in my situation, I had no choice but to keep moving forward. I had hope. I didn't know things were as dirty as they were. I didn't know that I knew I was a target, but I didn't know I was as big a target as I was, and that I was targeted by so many entities, which actually, in retrospect, it's quite hilarious, because all you do fucking CIA, FBI, DIA, ONI, fucking petty gang stalkers, shit like that, and you still failed. All right, so fuck you. Yeah, you hurt me, but you didn't break me. And every time you hurt me, you cracked me open and made me stronger. So who's laughing now? But all right. So what do? First, you fucking try to settle from the shock, right? Like, you can't just, all right, get up the next day and everything's normal and la la la. No. I mean, people are really good at disassociating. I'm very good at disassociating. I had to learn that skill at a very young age. For those of you who don't know, I mean, there is a reason why I'm in a sports museum, okay? There is a reason why I was at the top of classes and things that I participated in, okay? And dissociation probably has a lot to do with it, right? Because when you're getting traumatized full time, what other choice do you have? So you have to kind of separate from that for a moment, assess, take as long as you need. So for me, and I'm not saying I did it right, I'm just sharing, you asked, right? So for me, I had to try to make my life as normal as possible. They strung me along, told me, oh, do this, that, and you can have your children back. Of course I did this, that, blah, blah, blah. Like, those things weren't even things that had to be done. But, yeah, so it took me a while to realize that the fix was in, and my children were never coming home. And even worse than that, my children weren't even my children anymore. You want to see pictures? I got pictures. All right. Yeah, all of that was taken down, by the way. Like, our whole life together, and then the kidnapping, and then what they looked like the day before, what they looked like a week after, makeup, piercings, freaking slutty clothes, pills. Yeah, that's the first thing. If your children if you're estranged from your children because they got put into a system or some fucking retarded ex, the first thing they're going to do is put them on pills, period. Once you're on pills, especially as a child, your frontal lobes are not able to develop. You are not able to think for yourself, period. That is why they want children on pills at younger and younger ages. I forget what I have it posted on the website, ChristieAphrodite.com. Just probably the quickest way to find that article where I cite the exact numbers, but it's something ridiculous, like, I don't know, 70 million. I don't even remember. Forget it. But there's lots of realizations. There's lots of steps, right? You have the shock. You have the pain. You have the, oh my God, am I allowed to feel the pain? But then you have to stuff it away because then you're going to court like every week, or, you know, being drawn into other people's circuses, right? If you are in the workforce or say on radio in the public eye, you still have to go forward, right? It was, so this happened in 2010. Later on that year, I went on a road trip. That's when I came across the book Healing Trauma. And then I went back home on a road trip. I definitely spent at least 2 or 3, probably, weeks in bed, completely suicidal, just thinking, well, this is ridiculous. That's my whole life. And the thing is, before that was my life. That was my only identification. Is, you know, and keep, let's rewind. Like, for those of you getting through your programming and knowing what I've gone through to get through my programming, I had no worth before this, right? So the only thing good about me, the only thing I had ever accomplished in my life at the time was having beautiful children. Yeah. That, in my mind, that was it. So that was my only identifying characteristic. It was all I had in my mind. Now, there's deeper truths and issues behind that too. What if it had to happen so that I could get to know myself? Yeah, I know. That's tough to realize. And then you have to deal with the fact, like, everybody knows somebody who, whether it's your parent or loved one or whatever, and they go take a pill, it completely changes their personality, right? And there comes to a point where you have to accept, wow, that's not my mom anymore. That's not my lover anymore. That's not me anymore, right? And at that time, I was a couple years out from doctors, okay? I had already healed myself. People were pissed. We had the Bayer, Bayer, yeah, Monsanto, yeah, family living right next door. His job was wearing hazmat suits, putting fluoride in the water, poisoning our organic garden, teaching my children that reading in the summer was child abuse, and all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, that was a lot of shit. So how do you deal with that? I'm still learning, let me tell you. But one thing you cannot do is bypass the feeling or bypass the pain of the trauma. Okay? Some things you can do. And again, go look back at my show. Look at the dates. Look at when I did them. So what did I do? I used it as a platform to educate and inform others and myself. So why is this happening? What's going on? What, you know? So what did I do 5 nights a week? I taught myself and others, right? Anyone who was listening, what was going on with the system or why these types of things happen. And then we got more into the trauma aspect and healing it. It was really tough for me being a mind-controlled slave up until that point, and thinking that the only redeeming quality about me was that I was a mother, and that's it. And then to have that taken away. So it's like, whoa, what am I? Who am I? Like, I really had no idea. I had dreams, I had visions, I had goals, but in my programming, they were all completely impossible. Yeah, so the major thing for me was to realize, okay, well, now I have the time. Let's try to figure out who I am. That was my true descent into the hells of all the traumas that I had suppressed. Sure, some had leaked out before that I have shared and we're trying to figure out, but it really wasn't until this where, I mean, I had nothing but that trauma, right? And the big black empty hole in my home, right? So I could only dive into that. Well, that's not true. I could have chosen what a lot of other people do: go to bars, drink, do drugs, hang out with friends, dissociate, and just forget about it, right? But at the same time, I'm kind of a fighter, and I'm just like, dude, prove it. I was begging for trials. They never did it. Yeah, they got rid of him without a fucking trial, without any they completely broke all their own laws. So I was fucked up because I'm a crusader. I'm like, okay, we're going to fight this legally and your rules, right? Okay, I learned their rules. I did everything the so-called right way. And I still had to come to the realization that there was not one single thing that I could do. The fix was in. Deal with it. So how do you deal with it? In the process of finding out who you are, you also have to find out who you're not. Okay? So I started surrounding myself with friends. I mean, we had lots of late night Skype calls, friends at the time. So one of them turned vampire and complete betrayer and tried to have me killed, and that's on the website too. So that was a lot of trauma. I wasn't just dealing with the trauma of my children, right? The loss or estrangement of. But really, the bottom line is I had to realize that my children are not mine. I got to borrow them and learn from them for a while, teach them a little, but they are not mine. We don't own anyone, right? I don't own you. You don't own me. We don't own our children. Yeah, we love them. Yeah, we want to provide the best life for them, right? Just like your kitty, just like your puppy, yep, that's our intention. But, you know, just like how I rail on the people who say, oh, everything is your thoughts and you... Bullshit, dude, okay? There are things that are out of our control because, guess what? Other people have fucking thoughts and intentions too. And sometimes they have money and guns and media, right? Yeah, media was a big part of silencing me, crucifying me. So what we can do is start the process of finding out who you are. Remember back when you were a child, what did you enjoy doing? I enjoyed taking photos. I enjoyed climbing trees. I enjoyed traveling. I enjoyed seeing things. A lot of the things that I enjoyed weren't really feasible as a single mother. And I was in a wheelchair, okay? Up until, this happened in 2009 in April. I was in a wheelchair up until 2008. So there really wasn't even that much time I was out of a wheelchair. Yeah. I had to accept that there was not one fucking thing I could do to change whatever was supposed to happen. And I had to go forth and figure out who and what I am, period, end of story. When I needed to cry for a month, I did. If somebody wanted to shame me about it, fuck you. Go ahead and die. All right, this is healing. Healing doesn't look pretty. And in the process, being on radio, I was freaking shamed and criticized the whole way. Not just mainstream radio, but alternative radio too. So not only with the stories they were making up, also criticizing everything about me. My looks, my crooked face, my voice. Like all these things that I couldn't do anything about anyways. But they were really needling and trying to, you know, just shame me in any way possible, make me insignificant. They honestly were trying to kill me. Yeah. There came a time where I had to realize, wow, this many armies after little old me. Huh. It just really doesn't make much sense, especially feeling as insignificant as I am or being made to think that, right? But the problem was there was a reason people were trying to make me feel that way. And if I really was that insignificant, why would it take armies? Why would I be all over mainstream news? Why would I be the #1 talk in alternative radio? Why, right? That doesn't happen to people that are insignificant. So I went on a quest to find out what they knew. What did they see in me? What did they know about me that I didn't know? Not all of us have the same path, okay? Mine was a little extreme, okay? I am double black 9 of clubs and spades in the life path. I also have like at least 16 squares in astrology, all mutable, just, you know, so my path is a little extreme. I had no idea why then. I thought that maybe I was being punished or whatever. But all this really did for me is bring me back to myself. And honestly, even the disabilities, being frickin' poisoned or shot and frickin' disabled in an instant, it all helped me because it gave me that time to think where I didn't have a choice, right? When you're bedridden, you don't have a fucking choice. So what are you going to do? Think or watch TV? I chose to think. Remember. Yeah, so for me, my realization was if they are going to expend all this effort, all these people, all these resources on little old me, I want to find out why. So I made, and you know what, it's funny, this just came up in a group today. Somebody was actually praising me on being able to get through all of it. And I'm like, yeah, haha, that's why taking care of yourself is the best revenge. So a lot of people, and even people that were my friends and wanting to help me, they were lost in the battle, I'm going to get them, or this person said this, I'm going to get them, or that. You know, and it's enticing, dude. And when it first happens and you don't understand what's going on, of course you want to fight back, right? You want to, like, defend yourself or, you know, when you're hearing all these rumors being disseminated, literally, not just in our country, but worldwide. Yeah? Okay? So, of course, that's your first instinct. But that didn't last very long. I realized it for the game that it was. And that my greatest investment would be to invest in myself. That's when I started studying. I got my degree. I ended up with how many different guests on how many different topics that I've not only studied, but actually went out on my journey alone. Whether I lived in a minivan, a cargo van, a tent, the streets, a shed, whatever, yeah? It was then that I found out why this had to happen, so I came to accept it, and it sounds fucked up to say, but I don't mean it's that deeper level thing, but how it benefits not only myself, but I mean that's what we're talking about, right? You want to know how you can get over the estrangement of my children. After the pain, the trauma, the in bed, the suicidal, the months at a time, and, you know, getting my ass kicked at all angles and just realizing this is hopeless, it clicked. And it all made sense that it had to happen. It was for my benefit. And looking back, compare today me to 10-year ago me. I had no idea who I was. I was realizing that I was not who everyone wanted me to be, namely my family. That's when I stepped away, right? No, I stepped away in 2007. Yeah. So I was just right fresh at the beginning, right? Who am I? What am I? I don't know. Well, now I know. So how do you occupy your time? You have a bunch of more free time now. Do what you love to do. Remember what you loved as a child. Remember your childhood dreams. Go fucking do it. You know my childhood dreams, and it was actually, it's kind of weird to come across it, and it brings tears to my eyes to think. But in my trauma healing playlist, it's a personal trauma healing journey. One of them is called Mama Drama Trauma, Bring on the Healing. And so I had just got back to San Diego. I was given a box with photos and stuff. I had no idea what was in there. I opened them on the video and just went through stuff. And at one point, and I posted it on Facebook the other day with like the timestamp because I saw it and I'm like, what the fuck? So there I was. I'm showing my first card and like apologizing for how stupid it is because I'm so not creative. And on the back I wrote Christie's cards. And it really, you know, just cemented the fact that, yeah, I mean, I always wanted to be a photographer. Dude, when I was like 8 years old, I remember being in the Hallmark store down at Telegraph Canyon Road, like walking around looking, oh, I wish those were my pictures in those frames. And, you know, but then you forget about that when you get beat up, okay, for fucking 40 years, all right? You forget that, and you try to live other people's dreams so you can be accepted, at least somewhere, or at least feel like it for a minute. I had to cut that off. I already was fucking hated by everybody, right? Mainstream, alternative, all my friends were fucking backstabbing betrayers. They weren't even actual friends. They were people part of the game trying to pretend, okay? The users on my show, the fucking vampires, like, I was completely surrounded. So of course I'm going to embark on a journey and say, fuck you all. Who am I, right? I don't know if we will ever get over the pain of losing a child. And the fact that they're alive and you know they could talk to you if they want, or they, you know, sometimes I'll get a text or whatever, but honestly, I had to cut it off after my mom died. I'm just like, I'm done. That's it. I'm not fucking chasing anyone, okay? And people have to go through their programming too. They were made to hate me. Dude, one of my daughters actually told me things, or she tried to, like, oh, well, you did this, and I'm like, what? That's what Grandma was yeah. In fact, I have videos of my children telling me when they first found out what the word prostitute meant. Okay? So I started documenting this stuff, even my children on video, because I knew where it was going and what the pill poppers, yeah, pill poppers, crazy pill poppers that are led and lured. And you know what? I've said it before. When I was a fucking pill popper, I was fucking crazy and easily lured too. I believed in politics then. I believed in religion then. I believed in all the fucking news, right? Pills make people believe shit. Pills kill your fucking frontal lobes. Don't forget that. Pills is what make mind control slaves. The real MK Ultra is that you are the fucking victim, really. You don't have to be a victim, but yeah. If you think that, dude, CIA controlled news, CIA controlled medicine, CIA controlled government, CIA control every single thing you think you know. Oh, but let's just feel sorry for those few children or those few Hollywood stars. Bullshit, dude. If you're watching fucking TV, you're voting for politicians. You were born in this country in a hospital. You are fucking MK Ultra, okay? So the sooner you realize that, the better. All right? When I was on pills, I was fucking nuts, just like everyone else who was on pills. And yeah, sometimes it's your sweet little grandma, and oh, it's so cute, and oh, Christie, how could you be so heartless? Dude, she's fine right now. What about next week when she snaps at you for no fucking reason or forgets something extremely crucial, like leaving the stove on and the house burns up or whatever? I'm just saying, these things happen on pills, and I have yet to see anyone on pills who has not had some fucking irrational, psychotic breakdown. All right? I don't give a fuck what you think. Take your pills. Take your pills and get the fuck away from me and go kill each other. Yeah, I watched pills destroy my family, dude. Let me tell you, from the time I was a fucking child, I was forced on them. Like, forced. Okay? And then I get a little bit older, and then my mom's taking them. And let me tell you, my mom used to not always be a psychopathic parasite. Okay? No, she wasn't. She used to be human. She used to take us places, pretty places, road trips, see things, like activities, sports. Yeah, she used to. And then she started taking pills. And then it all ended up her, gambling, money, shopping, gambling, shopping, money, shopping, gambling, shopping. That's it. That, and if you dared call while Survivor was on, oh, you would get your ass fucking chewed out. But no, she turned into a monster, dude. A complete monster. I could have been that monster. They wanted me on pills. And because they were on pills, they thought I needed pills. Of course I was different than them because I wasn't on fucking pills and I could still ask questions. I could still think. But instead the answer was, well, how could you even think that? Duh, read the news. Come on. Yeah. So I would probably bet that in most cases when you're going through this that you are under some severe trauma too, not just from the incident, but perhaps even before. And what if it is an energetic way of allowing you to reset and find out who and what you really are? At least it was for me. And a lot of these realizations have not been easy. And even though I know they're true, they still make me cry because they're my babies, right? But they're not my babies. They're not. And 2 years ago, and I mean, they always will be. But when I say they're not, I mean that they're not mine. Like, I don't own them, right? Like, you don't even own your house, right? The government does. So it's kind of like that. Not saying... Oh, shit. I guess in my case it is. But, yeah, the deeper level of it, of the spiritual physics around it, was that it gave me a chance to get to know myself. Now, who am I to take away my children's painful path? They could even be like me at that age right now, where at that age, I didn't think I had trauma. I didn't think that not having a dad bothered me, or being abandoned, or, you know, that's how disassociative I was. I had no clue. Oh yeah, I'm strong, I'm fine, I'm, put on your game face, right? Yeah. It is what it is. I don't like it. But I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change anything in my past. I would like it to be different. It would be really cool to know what it's like to have a loving family. But I do have that. So what's the difference? I had to tweak my head too, thinking that, oh, I'll never have family. I've never had family. It's all I've ever wanted, blah, 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 blah. But just because you don't share blood, well, how do we know we don't share blood? We don't know, but who cares? Is it that essential? Like, does your family have to be born in the same house as you? No, I do have family. And I wasn't able to even recognize my actual real family until I was completely cut off from the family I knew that was not mine at all. Dude, from the time I was a child, I knew that wasn't my family. Okay? It just wasn't. I knew. I knew. That's why even in elementary school, I'm like going home saying, nope, this isn't right. Nobody loves me. You're not my mom. Yeah. What if my children have a path that has absolutely nothing to do with what I thought would have been best for them in a programmed mind? What if, well, I had already gotten off pills, and I know that that's why they came after me, curing people, doing my show, got myself out of a wheelchair, so I know what's behind it, the retaliation, they have the first people on the scene, oh yeah, and she's such a racist, watch out, kind of. With my dad, Darth Vader, who I don't even know, just happens to be there. With Mr. NORAD, he gave Mr. NORAD, her dad, his job. Anyways, I had to realize there was nothing I could do but find myself. Nothing I could do but heal myself. Nothing I could do but invest in myself. Learn, teach, share, love. In fact, find out what fucking love really is, right? What if my perception of love was based solely on what my mother taught me? That's pretty fucked up. Because if I would have ended up like her, raising children, that would definitely be fucking abuse. But who cares? Because you're allowed to abuse when you're part of the system. And, speaking of abuse, dude, a lot of us, we don't even know how damaging a lot of the things we do or say are. Like, most people, I don't think they, like, hey, I really want to hurt this person by saying this. No, it's like a triggered, programmed response. It's all you know. So, if we're not taking the time to go and assess and how we're affecting other people, and when you're on pills and alcohol, you're not doing that, or you're not as capable at it as you think, because you're deadening your senses, you're deadening your vision. They don't call it spirits for nothing. And yes, those pills have windows that open up to different entities that end up possessing you, which I have talked about a million times before. And that's why people who take the same pills act the same way, look the same way, drink the same shit, eat the same shit, vote for the same people. Doesn't matter where they are in the country. Check it out. Tell me I'm wrong. You know it's true. Unless you don't leave your computer screen. But, yeah, so how do you dude, I'm just going off on, and I know people probably wanted to hear people ask questions about that, but speaking regarding parents, estranged children, and possibly sharing some healthy concepts. Oh, I missed that part. I've told you what I did, but I didn't say it was healthy. Sorry. Wow. Still haven't had my frickin' coffee, and alright, let's just, yeah, healthy, huh? Healthy. I think that is healthy, really. Feel the trauma, feel the pain, go forth, love yourself, right? All the love you wanted to give to your children who aren't there, give it to yourself. That's how I figured out what self-love was, right? When I was in a situation that I wanted to hate on myself for, the world thought I should, then I changed shoes. I'm like, well, what would I do if it was my daughter? Then I started doing it for me. Then I went out and did all the things. I remembered my childhood dreams. I went and did them. Yep. There is what they say, the serenity prayer, right? Like, some things you can't change. And in my case, that was not anything I could change. I went through their hoops for 2 years. They ended up dropping the charges. Why? They never let me speak. Well, that's not true. I did in the one court that they wouldn't give the transcripts for. They sent my money back. Sorry, they're not available. Yeah, those phone calls and everything are there too. So it was a total setup. Everybody knows it. So I had to accept that there was nothing I could do. And everyone has their path. So no matter how much let's say you're targeted and you want to protect your children from it, and you know the option is either be targeted and struggle or live with your handler. One of them, last I heard, is on some serious drugs. Like, not just pills, but... yeah, so perhaps that is her path. And then maybe she gets to come up with some success story in the future and how she overcame. Right? The other one, as far as I know, is doing really well. She's been really lucky as far as people taking care of her and stuff. And she's super smart and can take care of herself. Super badass. But, maybe we had to be separated so they could see me and break out of that. And then maybe when they're tired of the Matrix, or maybe they never get tired of it. Maybe that's just their path. One of them was a pharmacist in their last life. Maybe they had to be here to see what pills do to people. And is she going to go back, or what is she going to do with it this life? We'll find out. But, yeah. That's about the best I can think of. And, yeah, I really had no idea what was going to come out, but probably a lot did about my own story, and fuck it, for those of you who want to shame me or whatever, or for those of you who are just curious. And by the way, I want to say, for those of you who don't ask me about it, I want to thank you for being compassionate and understanding and knowing that it'll break me. And for those of you who do ask, I also want to thank you because I know you care sometimes. And sometimes they're just baiting, little stalkers or trolls trying to whatever. But, yep, the best thing anyone can do when you're estranged from your children, or anyone, is to go find yourself. Go work on yourself. And it might take a long-ass fucking time, right? Here we are, almost 10 years later. Wait, yeah, yep, 9.5, yeah. And I'm still learning as I go. I got a pretty good grasp on, but yeah, that doesn't mean the pain isn't there. That doesn't mean that it's just completely erased. It's something, on the contrary, that I could tap into when I need, whether it's to help other people, to show compassion, whether it's to tap into my art or ideas on how to make things better in certain areas. There's lots to draw on here, so I'm thankful for the time that we had together, just like you would with anyone. People die, people move, people coming in and out of your life all the time, right? Reason, season, lifetime. So that was the season, and I am positive there was a reason, but I have no idea what's going on for the rest of the lifetime. I do know that I won't chase anyone at all, no matter who they are. I do know that if somebody loves me, they would be with me or be communicating with me, period. It's just the way it is. So I'm not going to be in one way anything. And I hope that for you too, because I see a lot of parents and they're complaining about their children. Oh, he doesn't love me, or she doesn't, or she always does this, or oh, they're all, but you let him. Hello, enabler. Like, you know what I mean? And they're, yeah. So, that's all. Have a good day.